Drive-In Church says it will hold another service this Sunday despite mixed messaging from the state as to whether it is being allowed right now. Here's 11 Alive's Doug Richards to explain.
With different jurisdictions around the state giving different coronavirus guidelines, it might be easy to get confused. And it turns out some of that confusion extends to the state itself. Last weekend, we covered two different churches that conducted drive-in services, where folks pulled up in their cars and mostly watched services through their windshields and listened on their FM radios. It was intended to keep parishioners socially distant and safe from any potential COVID-19 contamination. But it produced a letter from the South Central District of the Georgia Department of Public Health reminding people that social gatherings of 10 or more people are not allowed. This would also include a drive-in church scenario. But then this afternoon, Governor Brian Kemp's press office sent us an email saying religious institutions can hold drive-in church provided that crowds of 10 or more practice social distancing. The note referred to the governor's original order of March 23rd, which says there is no restriction on the size of a gathering if participants can keep 6 feet or more apart. A spokeswoman for a church in Lithonia called the 3D Church says the church fully intends to do its drive-in service this Sunday.